How we manage our health is changing. People carry in their pockets every day devices which track their whereabouts, their location, the steps they take, the stairs they climb. And this may be knowingly or unknowingly. There's a rise of users called self-trackers or self-quantifiers who use wearable devices, so wearable digital health technological devices, as well as platforms and applications within phones like Nike Plus or Strava to track and monitor certain health practices. Now, a lot of the ideas around these devices is that self-knowledge through data will improve health. So we will have increased knowledge about our bodies through optimizing and improving our health. This idea that better health means improvement, continual improvement. And so users of these different devices can not only use this acquisition of data and self-knowledge for themselves, they can then obviously share these practices, share the data on social media. And from this sharing practice, they get feedback from the community, and this encourages further self-tracking and further self-monitoring and arguably improved health. And it draws the community's gaze into what they're doing every day. This is quite a self-motivating tool.
I'm going to be doing a 10k run in June, so I shared something to keep me accountable for it, and I got really great feedback from people. I think if you keep it inside, then if you don't do it, then you've only got yourself that you've let down, and you can kind of ignore it. But if you tell somebody, then it kind of puts it out into the world, and other people are going to ask you, and you kind of have to have an answer.
So as well as self-tracking using these different devices and sharing that information on social media, there's a trend towards sharing and life logging on social media as well. This continual documentation of sharing our whereabouts and what we're doing. And the same feeds over into our health practices. There's an increased lifestyleization of health. And so people are often using social media now as quite confessional, reflective spaces that they can talk about their health worries, or if they're going through a recent diagnosis of a disease, for example, they can share that experience, which is incredibly supportive to other patients or other individuals who are going through a similar thing. And so all of these different sorts of capturing health practices or sharing health become a form of health diarising. So what kind of drew you towards actually sharing this journey?
The first thing I wrote was when I got diagnosed, and a few people knew about it, but not many. And my mum accidentally outed me on Facebook because she was raising me. She was doing a fundraiser for me. She was raising money for a posh wing, and she just put, as some of you may know, Abby has cancer and blah, blah, blah. And I just went mental. The whole internet in my circle of friends blew up. I was like, no. So I just, off the bat, I just sat down. I was just like, I don't even know what to think, but I just wrote, and I just found when I wrote, it was just so helpful. It was just a Facebook post, which later on turned into my first blog post. Okay. And it was just saying, don't feel sorry for me. I'm wearing this news with a smile. Like, it doesn't have to be doom and gloom. It's actually been quite an awakener, and I'm embracing this journey. I'm taking it on, and it just felt so good to say those things and put it out there and just comfort people and say, no, I'm fine.
Did you then feel that it was a form of diary because you were being quite self-confessional, quite publicly reflective about something that's obviously very personal to you?
Yeah, it was definitely. I think I've always been quite an externally expressive person, and from the first blog entry I wrote, it was initially just sat down, didn't think, just wrote mostly to comfort other people, and also I guess it was definitely a form of expression. And then each post after that turned into a very powerful way of expressing myself and processing what I was going through. So it was as much as it was documenting as well each part of the journey, so that I could kind of have that to look back on. And yeah, mainly it was just a form of expression and just being able to get it all out, what I was feeling, what I was going through, what each thing meant to me. Keeping a paper diary, I could just completely write more self-indulgently about what was going on in my life emotionally and things like that. Even though I am very open in sharing in the blog, there's some things I wouldn't share if they involve other people, or they're very deep and private to me. So I think I would still carry on. I was still leaving time to carry on with that, but I wasn't focusing so much on my cancer journey online. So yeah, that's probably where it shifted a bit. It's more to do with processing things myself and less to do with sharing the amazing aspects of the journey I'm on.
Because of sharing, you've got to get a certain time, and obviously you want to get a good time in the marathon, but you'd be stopping at a road because there's traffic, you'd be stressing out because it's going to affect your time. So you'd be thinking, you've got to run this last bit faster because of the time. You still knew you run well, you know that on the day there won't be traffic, but you just get obsessed with posting it.
Just acquisition of data doesn't necessarily mean better health outcomes. And we have to ask, what is all of this data doing for our bodies? Is it actually telling us anything more about our bodies than we already know?